fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver, the Lone Ranger. With his faithful Indian companion Tonto, the daring and resourceful masked rider of the plains led the fight for law and order in the early western United States. Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater champion of justice. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver. Let's go, big fellow. Hi-yo, Silver! Hi!
For years, the Wilson brothers had laughed at the law and carried on their march of crime. But finally, they were captured. Throughout the days of their trial, they were arrogant, sneering, and defiant. Despite the efforts of their attorney, they were found guilty of a recent crime. The small courthouse was packed on the day they faced Judge Holcomb to hear their sentence.
You two have been tried and found guilty of armed robbery and attempted murder as charged in the indictment. It is the sentence of this court that you spend the next 20 years at Territorial Prison at hard labor.
20 years?
No jail will hold us that long.
That's right. We'll get out of jail, Judge Holcomb. And when we do, we'll get you and every member of the jury.
Sheriff, take the prisoners out and see that they go to work on the rock pile in the morning. Let them toughen up their hands while they await transfer to the Territorial Prison.
In you go. Lock 'em up, guard.
Sure thing, Sheriff.
These two are downright rough hombres, so watch 'em close. They're to start on the rock pile in the morning. Let them get some practice while they're waiting for transfer to the Territorial Prison.
Right.
I'll tell you all about them before I leave.
You hear that, Bob?
Yeah, the rock pile in the morning. It's just what I counted on.
Now, what's funny about it?
Wait till you see, Don. I made arrangements with a friend, just in case we got convicted. Just you wait till we get on that rock pile.
The next morning at daybreak, Bob and Don were taken to work on a pile of rocks where the Wyoming Trail crossed the tracks of the Union Pacific. They managed to detach themselves from the other prisoners and the guards as they worked.
Keep working, Don. We don't want the guards to pay no special attention to us. Keep close to me.
Yeah, I am. What's up?
I'm working toward that rock that's got the smear white paint. See it?
Yeah, I see it.
My friend Bart put that smear paint there.
For what?
Wait till you see what's under the rock.
How much longer do I have to wait?
Just a second now. Any guards looking this way?
No.
Keep watch till I shove the rock aside.
I'm watching.
Here we are.
Guns.
Right. Here, grab one. Now we vamoose.
Hey!
Take it! Come on. Come on, Don. Stay with me.
I'm with you.
Keep your head low. Make our getaway. Bart's got a hideout for us.
It was several days after the escape of the prisoners when the Lone Ranger rode through the hills some distance north of town. He headed for a secret hideout where Tonto was waiting.
Oh, Silver. Oh, easy, steady, big fella.
You come plenty fast, Kimasabi. What matter?
Tonto, I went to town to learn about the Wilson trial. I wanted to be sure those crooks were convicted.
Them two crooks in jail.
They were convicted by the jury, but they remained prisoners for less than 24 hours.
You mean them crooks free again?
Yes, they've escaped. They must have had guns where they could find them. They killed the guard, and they've sworn to kill Judge Holcomb and every member of the jury.
Holcomb, good judge.
He'll be a dead judge unless we find the Wilson brothers very soon.
How you hear of escape?
Because I was in town when a posse set out. In fact, I rode with the posse until the trail was lost.
You ride with posse with mask on face?
No, Tonto. I was disguised as a wrangler.
Oh.
Saddle your horse, Tonto. I'll show you where the lawman lost the trail. We'll try to carry on from there.
After hiding in the hills until they were sure they'd thrown off all pursuers, Bob and Don Wilson made their way to an old shack near an abandoned silver mine. Bart Hanley was there waiting for them.
Come on in, boys. Glad you got here.
We got here thanks to the guns you left for us, Bart.
I knew you'd found them when I heard about the escape.
Heard about it, eh?
Sure. It's all anyone in town is talking about. You didn't bring horses, did you?
No.
They leave tracks that are hard to hide.
Yeah, that's right. Well, now, if you boys will just pay up what you promised, I'll fix you with grub and horses so you can head north and keep going.
We pay all right, but you'll have to wait until we can cash in on our freedom.
Yeah? Meaning what?
Yeah, we're broke. The lawyer got all our
You
cash.
mean to say you can't
Now,
pay me?
take it easy, Bart. Don't get sore. We'll pay you. We'll pay you plenty. But first, we've got to line up a few jobs.
And before that, we've got to square accounts with Judge Holcomb. The old coot didn't give us half a chance.
That's right. Could have let us off with a couple of years. Instead of that, he gave us 20.
Well, you'll have to wait a while if you aim to get the judge.
Why?
He left town right after the trial. Went over to Laramie by train.
How do you know?
I make it my business to know what's going around these parts.
When is Holcomb coming back?
Friday.
We can't hang around here till Friday. It's too close to town. In 4 days, someone's sure to find us.
I can hide you so no one can find you. Of course, it'll cost you $50 a day. But your credit is good.
It's worth that to get the judge.
Fair enough.
How can you hide us, Bart?
Bob, I fixed this shack up right. When I show you what I got, you can spread the word. Just let the right boys know that I can be of a lot of help in case of trouble.
Show us your hideout.
Yeah, come over here.
Yeah.
You see that bunk?
Uh-huh.
Looks like it's fastened to the floor, doesn't it?
Isn't it?
You know, sometimes looks are deceiving. Hey, you, Don, grab hold of the bunk there at the other end.
Like this?
Yeah, now swing it out. Pull it around towards you. Just like you would a gate.
Huh? But it's solid.
Go on, pull hard.
Hey, move. Bob, look what's under it.
A hole. A ladder going down.
Yeah, there's a short tunnel down there. I dug it myself. There's bunks down there and a lamp. Now, we'll keep watch. If we see anyone coming, we'll swing out the bunk. You boys get down there, and I'll put the bunk back in place. You can stay there as long as you have to.
If we don't suffocate.
I'll fix that, too. There's air holes to the outside. Yeah, that place will take care of hiding you. Now then, you said you wanted to fix the judge.
That's the only reason we're staying around here.
Well, I can fix it so she can take care of the judge and at the same time get the cash to pay me.
How?
Look up there on the shelf.
Blasting powder.
You seem to have a plan worked out, Bart.
Yeah, look here on this map. Here's the tracks of the railroad, where they run between the old abandoned silver mine and the river. Yeah, you see them?
Yeah.
Well, there's a place right here where those tracks run along a shelf, with a cliff on one side and a 300-foot drop into the river on the other. Now, all you have to do is light the fuse to a keg of blasting powder and drop it on the tracks just ahead of the train. The train will be blown off the ledge.
Uh-huh.
Judge Holcomb will be on that train. And so will a lot of others. Many of them will be carrying considerable cash. They'll all be killed. River's shallow. You'll have plenty of time to make your way down to it and go through the pockets and bags of the people who were on the train.
Hey, that's doggone smart.
Now, all you boys have to do is stay here in hiding until Friday, when Judge Holcomb's train is due.
The Wilson brothers had hidden their trail well. The Lone Ranger and Tonto had a difficult time and frequently lost the almost imperceptible signs of the fugitives. But they persisted in their manhunt. They came within sight of the miner's shack 2 days after the arrival of Bob and Don. The masked man signaled a halt at the edge of a clump of trees.
Wilson's fella. I wonder where they went from here, Tonto.
Maybe them go to cabin over yonder.
That's possible. Or they may have gone past the cabin and headed deeper into the hills. Stay here among the trees. I'll investigate the cabin.
Maybe better me go with you.
No, Tonto. If the crooks are in that shack, there might be trouble. It'll be better if you're here to cover me. Come on, Silver.
The masked man was closely watched as he advanced on the small building. When he came close and reined up, he saw the door swing open, and Bart appeared with a shotgun in his hand.
All right, hold it, mister. Get your hands up.
Easy, Silver. Steady. You needn't hold that gun on me. I'm just here for information.
I got no information for masked men.
Say, aren't you Bart Henley?
Yeah, what if I am?
What are you doing in this neighborhood?
What's it to you? And how do you know about me anyhow? Who are you?
The last time I saw you, you were some distance north of here. You were just 2 jumps ahead of the law.
Well, I'm in the clear, see? The law's got nothing on me.
The men I'm looking for are not in the clear. Maybe you saw them.
Yeah, how would I know? I don't know who you're looking for.
The Wilson brothers.
Never heard of them.
They escaped from jail.
Hey, are you a lawman? If so, why the mask?
I'm on the side of the law.
Well, I'm living here alone. And I don't like company.
Alone?
That's what I said.
Did a couple of men come this way?
I didn't see anyone. And you needn't try looking over my shoulder to see the inside of the house. Because there's nobody in there.
Oh, just one room, huh? Mind if I step inside?
If it'll get rid of you any quicker, you're welcome to.
Thanks. Have you done some mining in the hills?
That's what blasting powder's for, ain't it?
You, said you were living alone.
Well?
The dirty dishes there. Quite a few for just one man. It looks to me as if you might have cooked for a couple of friends.
I don't care how it looks to you, mister. As for the dishes, what's it to you if I let 'em pile up 2 or 3 days before I wash 'em?
It's nothing to me, Bart. I'll go on about my business. Oh, and by the way, the Wilsons are now wanted for murder.
Yeah?
Yeah. They killed a guard. When they're captured, they'll hang. As for you, if you've been hiding them, you'll hang with them. Accessory after the fact, you know.
As if I didn't know who he is.
Come on, Silver.
All right. Come out of hiding, boys. He's gone. Come on out and let me tell you how I outsmarted the Lone Ranger.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger adventure. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue. After riding away from the shack near the abandoned silver mine in the Wyoming hills, the Lone Ranger and Tonto made camp on a ledge overlooking the tracks of the Union Pacific Railroad. Meanwhile, the Wilson brothers had come out of the hiding place beneath the bunk.
We could hear every word you said, Bart.
You sure handled that, Lone Ranger.
Yeah, there's just one thing that bothers me, boys.
Yeah, what's that?
You recognize me. If it's ever learned that I hit you two, I'll hang for it.
We can't prove you hit us.
Yeah, well, just the same, I'm not going to feel easy until the Lone Ranger's out of the way. And also the Indian who travels with him.
You'd like to have us do a couple of killings, huh?
You owe me plenty.
I don't mind paying off in service instead of cash.
All right, I've got a plan, boys. You can get the Lone Ranger and Tonto when you get the judge.
How?
You're aiming to drop a keg of blasting powder in front of the train on Friday.
Yeah?
How would it be if I fixed it so's the Lone Ranger and his Indian friend were on that train?
How could you do that?
That masked man didn't come here by accident. He knew you two were in the vicinity, and he'll stick around close.
Well, what of it?
He'll camp nearby. When he left here, he headed straight for the woods a couple of 100 feet to the south. From there, I think I can follow his tracks. All I've got to do is locate him and tell him a few things. And I guess you boys know I have a mighty convincing way of talking.
Bart started out early the following morning. He had little difficulty in finding the tracks of Silver and Scout and following them to the masked man's camp. His approach was noticed by the Lone Ranger.
Tonto, look who's coming. It's Bart Henley.
Oh. Why him come here?
We'll probably find out in a few minutes. Hello there.
Hello, yourself. I want to talk to you.
Glad to be accommodating.
Oh, boy.
I'll not welcome you at the point of a gun.
Well, I'm sorry about that, mister. But how was I to know who you were? All I could see was a masked man on a white horse. I didn't realize until after you rode away that you're the man I've heard about. Then I knew we were on the same side of the fence.
What does that mean?
Look here, you've been around a lot. You've seen all kinds of men. You've seen good and bad. You've seen good men go bad and bad men... Well, you must have run into cases where men who had made some mistakes turned over a new leaf.
Meaning yourself?
Yes.
If you're on the level, I'll help you in any way I can.
Gosh, I hoped you'd say that.
You followed our tracks.
Yeah, I had to talk to you. That is, I didn't tell you the whole truth yesterday when you were at my place.
No?
You spoke of a couple of killers.
The Wilson brothers.
Yeah, well, I told you I hadn't seen anything of them.
Wasn't that true?
No.
You did see them?
Yes. And after you rode away and I realized who you were, I figured the best thing I could do was to come after you and tell you the truth. They passed my place. In fact, they stopped there and wanted me to hide them.
When?
A couple of days ago.
You didn't hide them?
No, I didn't even let them in the house. But they told me their plans. They're out to kill Judge Holcomb. They aim to head west as far as the junction. They'll disguise themselves there and get aboard the eastbound train on Friday. Somewheres between the junction and the town, they're going to get the judge.
I see.
Now, look, you've got to protect me. They knew I'd squeal on them, they'd kill me.
If you're telling the truth, you'll be protected.
You can check it easy enough. All you have to do is get aboard the train a few miles west of here. It may take a while for you to locate Bob and Don because, well, they'll be pretty well disguised.
Maybe we find them in Junction.
Well, you might, but then I'm not dead sure they'll board the train there. They may get aboard this side of the junction. But if you're on that train between the junction and town, you'll find them sure enough.
Thanks.
Now, remember, you've got to see that I'm protected. I'm trying to go straight. It's not easy.
No, it's not easy. But you'll find it's worthwhile.
Well, I don't like to mention this.
What?
I don't know if there's a reward for the capture of those two.
I'll make it a point to see that you get all that's coming to you for what you've done.
Gosh, thanks. Well, I better get back to my place. Adios.
Adios.
Get it. Come on.
What you think, Kimasabi?
I don't know what to think, Tonto. There's something wrong somewhere. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is. There's something about this situation that isn't right.
Maybe Bart's a tramp, huh?
Perhaps. But on the other hand, he might be trying to reform. And if he is, he deserves all the help we can give him.
Oh, that's right.
Pick up the duffel, Tonto.
We leave camp?
Yes, pack our gear and roll our blankets. We'll head for the junction and board the eastbound train.
Maybe better you not wear mask. Maybe better you wear disguise.
Time enough for that when we get to the junction. It's Steady, boy. Easy. It's time to move.
The Lone Ranger and Tonto rode west toward the junction. They rode slowly, and as they rode, the masked man did a lot of thinking. At one point, he was interrupted by Tonto.
We may be able to put them into a cattle cart, Tonto, when we get the horses there. If not, we'll leave them in the livery stable until we can go back for them.
You got plenty on mind, Kimasabi?
Yes, I have, Tonto. I've had something on my mind ever since I left that shack where Bart is living. I don't know what it is.
Oh, what you mean?
Hard to explain. I saw something in that shack.
Oh, you see blasting powder.
That's easily accounted for if Bart is doing some mining.
You see plenty dirty dish.
Bart accounted for those, too. Oh, there's something else. I wish I could put my finger on it.
The slow ride continued with periodic pauses at water holes. The afternoon advanced and waned, and still the Lone Ranger could not rid himself of the vague feeling of uneasiness, a feeling that his subconscious mind held an important fact that refused to emerge. It was sunset, and there was a halt for the evening meal.
You still try to remember what you see?
Yes. Tonto, Bart lied to me, I'm sure of it. I saw something that contradicts the story he told. I have a feeling it was in his house that I saw it.
What we do?
There's not much we can do. We'll have to go on as we planned. If we don't find the Wilsons on that train, we'll return to Bart and question him further. Yeah, blasting powder, dirty dishes. Bart reforms. Wish I could put my finger on it.
The temporary camp was broken, and the two continued toward the junction. Darkness overtook them on the trail. The Lone Ranger still pondered.
Junction just ahead.
We have plenty of time, Tonto. We'll stop here long enough to fix a disguise. Go, Silver.
What's got hope, fella? What time train due?
It'll be along in a little while if it's on time. Supposed to reach town tomorrow morning.
Oh.
I think...
What matter?
Tonto, I have it.
What you mean?
Bart did lie, I'm sure of it. I must go back.
Go back where?
Back to Bart's house. You go on to the junction. Board the train. Look for Bob and Don. If you see them, keep watch. Don't let them make trouble.
Me do it.
I'll meet you in town. Come on, Silver!
The Lone Ranger held the great horse Silver to a fast pace. He traveled steadily through the moonlit night, pausing only twice to give the mighty stallion a brief rest. It was morning when he drew rein in front of Bart's shack.
Oh, Silver, easy, steady now.
He hit the ground fast, hurried across the porch, and opened the door.
Hey, what the...
I want to talk to you.
Now, wait, listen.
Start talking and tell the truth. Where are those two killers?
Now, look, mister, I told you
You
I don't...
told me you met them at the door, that you didn't let them into this place.
It's true.
It's a lie. Those dirty dishes prove it.
I explained them.
You said you didn't bother to wash dishes for several days. Well, look at those coffee cups. 3 of them.
Well, sure, the one I used this morning, one from yesterday, and the one
One from the day before.
Yeah.
You mean to say that dregs have been in that cup since Wednesday without drying up?
But
And these plates, the remains of food on them, eggs still moist. These plates were used this morning.
No, you're mistaken.
I'm not mistaken. Where are Bob and Don Wilson? And what's become of the keg of blasting powder I saw the last time I was here?
Well,
Talk! Talk, I said!
Wait.
Talk!
Don't hit me. Don't hit me again. I'll talk. They made me do it. I had no choice.
Where are the killers? Why did you send me to the junction? Why did you tell me you'd reformed? Why did you lie?
Give me a chance.
Talk fast, then.
Bart knew that sooner or later the Lone Ranger would capture the Wilson brothers. Now he had himself to think of.
I couldn't help it. I didn't have a choice. They pulled guns on me. They made me help them. They made me lie.
That may or may not be true. Where are they now, and what are they doing?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you all I know.
In the hope of winning clemency, Hanley told all he knew about the plot to wreck the train. Meanwhile, Bob and Don were on the top of the cliff over the ledge that supported the railroad tracks. Bob watched for the train, while Don, a few yards back, held the keg of blasting powder ready.
Here comes the train, Don, just around the bend. I'll watch and tell you when it comes into sight. That's when you light the fuse, then pass the keg of powder to me, and I'll drop it on the tracks.
I sure hope the timing is right.
And it should be. We burnt enough fuse checking on it. There's the train.
I'm lighting the fuse. It's lighted.
Who's that?
Huh?
Hey, look, the masked man.
Bob, here, take the keg. The fuse is burning.
I'll get that masked man.
With a cry of pain, Don dropped the keg of powder. The Lone Ranger and Bob Wilson had fired together. Wilson's shot went wild, but the silver bullet from the masked man's gun struck Don in the arm. Bob missed the mark a second time. Then the Lone Ranger fired again. Oh! Bob took the bullet in the shoulder. He spun, fell from the impact. Meanwhile, the fuse burned closer to the blasting powder.
Easy, steady now. No more gunplay.
That powder, get me away from it. My arm's busted. Get me out of here. That powder will explode in a couple of seconds.
I'll pull out the fuse.
Hurry, will you? Hurry.
Watching the outlaws carefully, the Lone Ranger grabbed the short stub of fuse. It burned his fingers. He ignored the pain and pulled the fuse out of the keg.
There. Now you crooks needn't worry about being blown to bits. You'll live to face the hangman.
No, wait, mister. Let me talk. Let me explain.
Your pal Bart did the explaining. He's tied in his cabin, waiting for us to join him. All right, I'll dress your wounds. Then we'll pick up Bart and go to town. The judge and the sheriff will be glad to see you.
When the Wilson brothers went to trial for the murder of the guard, Bart Hanley went with them as an accessory after the fact. The trial was short, and the verdict was guilty. Judge Holcomb pronounced the sentence.
That they shall be hanged from the neck until dead. And now, before adjournment, the court wishes to extend the thanks and gratitude of this community, as well as my personal thanks and gratitude, to the man who delivered us from these assassins, the Lone Ranger.
This is a feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated, created by George W. Trendle, produced by Trendle Campbell Enterprises, and directed by Charles D. Livingston. Tonight's drama was written by Fran Stryker. The part of the Lone Ranger is played by Brace Beamer.